We are staying on top of that breaking news out of Minnesota, where we know a manhunt is underway right now after 2 Minnesota state lawmakers were shot in what's being called a targeted incident. Minnesota officials say State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot and killed in their home in the suburbs of Minneapolis. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife also shot in their home not too far away. Both have undergone surgery and are expected to be okay. But officials say the suspect was impersonating a police officer and now believed to be on the run.
Folks, we have breaking news about the political assassination of a Democratic lawmaker in Minnesota, as well as an attempted assassination of another one. A suspect has been identified. The details are pretty alarming, and the suspect is still at large. But really quickly, first, here is what happened according to Governor Tim Walz and the police.
We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa and her husband Mark, were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost a dearest of friends. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt. This was an act of targeted political violence. Peaceful discourse is the foundation of our democracy. We don't settle our differences with violence or at gunpoint.
The circumstances that unfolded in Brooklyn Park this morning is that we assisted the Champlin Police Department on a shooting. That shooting was made aware by one of our sergeants that it was at Senator Hoffman's home. In hearing that very intuitive sergeant asked our officers to go check on Melissa Hortman's home, the representative that lives in our community, just proactively as due diligence to swing by. That police officer and his partner pulled down the street when they arrived at Melissa's house. They noticed that there was a police vehicle in the driveway with the lights, emergency lights on, and what appeared to be a police officer at the door coming out of the house. When our officers confronted him, the individual immediately fired upon the officers, who exchanged gunfire, and the suspect retreated back into the home. This is somebody that clearly had been impersonating a police officer, again, using the trust of this badge and this uniform to manipulate their way into the home.
An absolutely tragic and terrible act of politically motivated violence. Trump has responded, calling it a targeted attack, but I'm not even going to read his response while his birthday parade is going on, because him and his party and all of the nut jobs, regardless of political affiliation, honestly, but mostly on the right, are directly responsible for the uptick in violence that we've seen that leads to a tragedy like this. Now, as I said, there is a suspect. I'm going to flash an image of him here. His name is Vance Luther Bolter. He is 57 years old, according to police sources. He is armed, obviously, and the details about this whole thing just get more insane from here. You can see the headline here: Dem assassin is armed patrol firm boss with war zone claims. Right now, he's the top suspect. He was appointed to Minnesota's Governor's Workforce Development Board in 2019, according to a document available online. His bio says that he has experience training with private security firms and U.S. military, so he is very dangerous. He was obviously impersonating a cop. But even more disturbing here, the suspect left behind a manifesto and a list of potential next targets that included Governor Walz, according to NBC. The list, whose existence was confirmed by law enforcement earlier today, contained the names of many top Minnesota Democrats, including Walz, Representative Ilana Omar, Senator Tina Smith, and Attorney General Keith Ellison. And the item was recovered from the suspect's car after he fled a shootout with police. They also found no King's flyers in his car, and the Minnesota police advised people not to go to protests there out of extreme caution. He was last seen wearing black body armor over a blue shirt and blue pants. And if this is the person, they also shot the Hortman family golden retriever. It's not clear whether that dog was killed, but they shot the dog. He was twice appointed to jobs by Democratic governors, serving on the Workforce Development Council in 2016 under then-Governor Mark Dayton, and appointed by Walz in 2019 to serve a 4-year stint on the Workforce Development Board. But despite being a Democratic aide, he last registered to vote in 2004 as a Republican.
The Republican Party of Minnesota issued a statement saying that they condemn this brazen act. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you say that the people are the enemy, that Democrats are demonic, possessed, evil. This is what happens when you can buy police tactical gear on places like Amazon and have it delivered the next morning. This is what happens when red flag laws don't work. This is what the No Kings resistance is about. It's about resisting authoritarianism and the rhetoric that is quite literally getting people killed. This time, it's a guy who's impersonating a police officer. How many times have we been on the street and seen people in ICE getups with masks? I don't know who those people are. You don't know who those people are. They're not wearing badges or name tags. They're kidnapping people off the street. They're throwing them in unmarked vehicles, and we're not finding out where they go or what happens to them after that. The amount of people that we have seen taken off the streets or had their workplace raided, we see them put in the vehicle, then we don't know what happened to them. Federal congresspeople like LaMonica McIver have been indicted on 3 felony accounts for trying to tour a detention center. The mayor of Newark was arrested. Senator Padilla was knocked to his knees and dragged from a DHS briefing that he was invited to and zip-tied. 43 veterans were zip-tied on the Capitol stairs yesterday. I will let you know when we have more, but if you're angry, I'm angry too. It is so important that we remain peaceful today on No King's Day and that we continue to build community and fight authoritarianism so that we can find our humanity and shit like this doesn't keep happening.
I genuinely don't know what to say about this except fuck Donald Trump, fuck all this fascist violence, and fuck anyone who commits this kind of political action, regardless of what side they're on. I don't even care about that. And thank you to all of you for caring and watching. There's one thing this country could use a hell of a lot more of is some goddamn empathy.